Ariel is a 10-year-old boy who today has a ceremony for getting a class. His parents are happy that their child will be bestowed with a class fitting his skills, and even his older sister is happy and excited about it. So his mom tells her sister that this will make him popular, which shocks her because she does not want him to get a girlfriend because he has her. Meanwhile, Ellen realizes this is their daily routine and they are not going to stop. In this world, at the age of 10, a blessing ceremony is held to receive a class. These classes are blessings granted by the goddess, and the kid receives skills fitting their class. So today is a special day for every 10-year-old. They all go to the temple where the priest comes to their town. As this is a special ceremony, the priest is sent by the kingdom to their town once a year. At the ceremony, the priest begins and calls the first kid to the front. He performs the ritual and reads the kid's mind. They both see flames, the scent of metal, and the sound of striking, which matches the blacksmith. The kid is happy that he got the same class as his father, and his sister gets the same as their mother. Ariel wonders why they're all taking after their parents, and his older sister tells him that lineage strongly affects the class. Next, the priest calls Ariel, and his family cheers for him. Seeing Ariel, everyone starts talking about him because his family has both advanced classes. His mother is the sword princess, Freya, and his father is the magic king, Leon. Advanced classes are upgrades of basic classes and take a lot of effort to obtain, but both of them were granted advanced classes immediately and were considered prodigies. Now, everyone hopes their kid will surely be the same, but when the priest senses Ariel's mind, they both see nothing, and the priest is shocked. He reveals that this is impossible because it means Ariel is classless, which shocks his family and everyone in the temple. Classes are blessings from the goddess, and to be classless is considered being abandoned by her. Later, his mom practices sword with Ariel and tells him he does not need to worry because she and his father will keep working. Meanwhile, his father also agrees and advises him not to hurt himself. Ariel's sister shouts that he would never do something like this. Then his older sister tells him that even if he is a potato, she will never leave him. While everyone seems upset, Ariel remains calm and tells them he is not feeling down at all. Since Ariel was little, he practiced the sword with his mom. Meanwhile, other kids in the town mock him, saying he practices even though he is not a swordsman. Because of the class, a swordsman can gain swordsmanship skills instantly, but being classless, Ariel can still use a sword because of his practice. And he remains positive and thinks himself not useless because he can do just as much with effort as with the skills. This makes his whole family happy that he has positive thinking, and they again start to talk about Ariel and how he will achieve everything in the near future. Tired of their discussion, Ariel decides to go practice at the ground. When he reaches the ground, he sees two boys practicing with swords. When they see Ariel, they start mocking him and ask why he came here, because he is not a swordsman. They mock him that they do not need to train because they are swordsmen and they were just here to check their skill. While they practice with each other, Ariel looks at them and realizes something. So he calls both of them and asks them to spar with him. Hearing this, both start to laugh at him, that a classless boy is going to fight them as they have the skills of a swordsman. But they do not know that Ariel's mother, the sword princess, is actually way too strong, and since he's been practicing with her for years, he's actually pretty good with a sword. This angers both boys, and they decide to beat him. So they ask him if he has divine protection on him. Divine protection is another blessing. A class is received at age 10, but divine protection is with every kid from birth. Divine protection is like invisible armor. It reduces the damage taken by the body, but its effects are diminished once used, and a portion of the pain is felt. The boy asks this so they do not need to hold back, as he will not die even with a serious beating. But when Ariel mocks him again, he gets irritated and charges at him. Ariel stops his attack but cannot defeat him instantly. Meanwhile, his partner tells him to finish this already, but he does not know it is not that easy. So he calls him to take Ariel down together. His friend suddenly attacks from behind, but Ariel dodges it. He gets excited that it was a good scene to practice against an opponent of similar skill. While they both argue with each other that he almost cut his leg, Ariel attacks them. When the boy turns around, he sees Ariel is not in front of them. Instead, Ariel strikes him from beneath. When the other kid is about to attack Ariel, he stumbles into his friend and falls on the ground himself. After getting beaten, they both start to argue with Ariel that he attacked when they were not focused, so this does not count. Just then, another boy with red hair appears and gives a lecture to both kids that these kinds of excuses will not work in a real battle, and they should stop embarrassing themselves as swordsmen. But Ariel actually would not mind some more practice with them. When the boy is about to fight this kid too, his friend instantly stops him because he recognizes him from his red hair. This new kid knows Ariel is the son of the sword princess Freya, and is surprised that even though he is classless, he can inherit abilities from his parents. However, he decides to confront Ariel himself and tells him not to get cocky just because he beat two of them, as those two were just appetizers. He announces himself as the next opponent and wants to show him the true power of a swordsman. Ariel is surprised. This is the first time he has met this kid, so why is he directing directing so much hate toward him. He then hears the other two talking that this kid looks similar to the leader of the municipal police. Hearing them, the kid reveals that that man, Evan, is actually his father. Ariel also knows the leader of the municipal police because he is the person who always comes to his mother with diverse monster subjugation requests. This kid admires his father too much as he has leadership and decisiveness aside from his skill with swords. Even so, his mother is regarded as the strongest swordsman, which he does not want to accept. The kid gets irritated because he thinks that the skill of one parent will be inherited by the child, and that's why he wants to win against Ariel and show that his family deserves to be called the strongest. Ariel tells him that he understands he deeply respects his father and is working hard as a swordsman as well, but Ariel also had his sword skills hammered into him by his mother, so he will not lose. By hammered into him, literally just like Ariel said, the skills were literally hammered into him, because when his mother could not think of the words to explain how to bring out the skills, she decided to show Ariel so he could learn, and hammered those skills into him. As the battle begins, both fight intensely, and the kids beside them are shocked and realize what a real battle actually is. They realize that this red-haired kid is actually stronger, but because of his anger, his movements are not accurate or focused. So Ariel tries to find a gap in his sloppy attacks, and when he gets one chance and attacks him, the boy uses his double-edged attack, which surprises Ariel because the boy only swung his sword once. But Ariel still dodges the attack, though one hit connects. When Ariel asks about this attack, the boy reveals that it is actually an assault skill that unleashes two attacks with one swing, and only people with skills can do this. But Ariel tells him that he at least managed to defend against one, and the boy tells him they can still try it again. A few days later, Ariel's big sister wakes him up, but when he sees her face near him, he goes back to sleep. Ariel's sister tries to wake him up with this. Later, the boy goes to the dining hall to eat breakfast while his older sister still tries to get their unfinished business. After eating breakfast, Ariel goes out. His sister asks their mother that ever since he came home worn out on the day he fought with that red-haired boy, he goes out early and comes back late, while his mother tells her it's fine and shows her in storage some used swords. She tells her that these are the ones that Ariel used ever since that day. After fighting with the kid around the same age, he got really motivated, and ever since, he has been training the sword outside. Meanwhile, Ariel is practicing sword in the forest, and that day he actually lost because he could not deal with that skill. But now he actually can do that because of his physical ability. When a swordsman increases his physical ability, he can perform high-level skills. So he again decides to practice that skill, but just then a goblin sees Ariel from the bushes and suddenly attacks him. Ariel notices him and quickly attacks with double-edged cut and defeats the goblin. When he is about to go back to training, he suddenly hears a piercing roar. He gets shocked why a large type of monster is near the foot of the mountain and is instantly about to report this to the municipal police, but he hears someone screaming for help. He realizes that if he goes back, he will not have time to help him, so he decides to go and check as he thinks he himself is pretty strong. When he goes nearer to the voice, he sees the same boy getting beaten up. The monster turns out to be a hobgoblin who is so strong that one hit from him can send a person flying. With this kid and his skill, solo subjugation would be much faster, and Ariel wonders why he could not do this and why it came to this. Just then he notices wooden sword marks and realizes that, just like him, the boy was practicing in the woods. Ariel thinks about the situation and realizes the power of the hobgoblin is immense, but its movements are slow. Just when the goblin is about to finish the boy, Ariel decides to finish the goblin. Ariel attacks with the same attack the boy used and defeats the goblin, but the boy suddenly also falls on the ground because he was too injured and his divine protection wore thin. Ariel realizes they have to restore it as fast as possible. When he asks him about his holy water, he shows him it's broken, so Ariel gives him his water. After drinking the water, the boy instantly asks Ariel about the attack, and Ariel tells him that it was a double-edged cut through which he used his skills. The boy does not believe him because it is too difficult to master, so Ariel tells him that it is probably impossible normally, but he trained more than normal to cut like that. The instructions are too heavy for the boy, and he cannot understand what Ariel is saying. So Ariel tells him simply he hates losing to that double-edged style. To definitely win the next time they meet, he made it his goal and reached his current level. The boy, who is hoping for a different meeting, realizes why Ariel is doing this and says he owes him. He even shared his holy water, so he decides to repay his debt by testing a double-edged cut at the same time. He defends against 2 hits, but gets struck by a third. Shocked, he hears Ariel say he actually used a third attack. The double-edged skill normally unleashes 2 attacks with 1 swing, so it's limited to those with the swordsman skill. But since Ariel learned it through practice, he does not need the double-edge limit. It isn't capped at 2, and he can chain continuous hits. The boy gets angry, thinking that those blessed with the swordsman job and its double-edged cut cannot lose to this, but Ariel tells him it can. They test who's stronger, and Ariel wins. He leaves. At home, Freya tells her husband that the red-haired boy departed for Brescia. A few days ago, the boy is actually 1 year older than Ariel. Ariel realizes they're talking about the red-haired guy and asks his mother about Brescia. Brezgia. She says it's a city for swordsmen, and it's where she worked before. She starts telling her old story. Before she married, she joined the guild in that city and swung her sword every day, polishing her skills with her comrades. It was a blessed time, but she thinks she is even more blessed now. Meanwhile, Ariel starts thinking of going to the city of Brezgia